What's up?
Here we are.
Hey man, what's up?
Clark, hey.
Clark,
I'm in the seat.
the hot seat.
It is a hot seat, man. I know
A little bit.
it's a little hot. It's warm. I mean, when you're in it for so long, you get a little bit of sweaty. Or sweaty. Well, thank you everybody for listening in today to the Building a Refuge podcast. We're grateful for our guest, Mr. Clark A. Crosser. Thank you, sir,
Hey, what's
for
happening?
being on.
Guys?
It's weird sitting here and interviewing Clark because,
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we're only here because of Clark,
Well,
right?
we've got the director in the seat,
I know.
and now we get to just.
So I feel like I'm in a hot seat.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
You are.
And
Be gentle.
You're
if
being
we have an
critiqued.
assistant director on set today,
Yes.
right?
Her,
Hello?
She is actually the acting
Yeah.
director on set today.
And she comes from good genes, right?
Yeah,
So
I'd like to think
yeah.
so.
You have way better hair though, Sydney.
I know.
You have way better hair.
I don't know about that. I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah, no, he does have pretty good hair. That's no doubt. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, thank you all for listening in to the Building Refuge podcast, otherwise known as The Bar, right, Eric?
That's right.
We appreciate you all. We appreciate LDR Studios for hosting us and taking care of us and making us feel good and all that good jazz, right? I mean,
right.
if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So thank you to Clark and the team here at LDR. We're really appreciative for you guys. Y'all can find us and like us on all the social media sites. Just go out and type in Building a Refuge on everything you can find out there social media wise. It's a lot easier to say it that way than
Yeah.
try to fumble my way through like every one of them. But more importantly, go out to YouTube and find us, find our channel out there, Building a Refuge. But
Yeah.
before we get going, as we do, if you are going through anything, struggling, if you're out there that just need a little bit of help anyways, you can text the word refuge to 494949. It's a great resource. It's anonymous, so if you want to text that and have a good conversation anonymously, that's a great first step, I think. You can also use the National Suicide Hotline at 988. It's a great resource. They've kind of condensed a little bit easier to seek some help there anyways. Or text 838-255. And as we have in other podcasts, listen, our veterans are very important to us. We love you guys. We care about you. And, we certainly have a lot of resources on that front as well. But you can reach their hotline at 1-800-273-8255. So we just appreciate everything you guys do for us.
That's right.
Clark, thank you for taking time, man. I mean, we're humbled. We're grateful to you, man. Like we said a little bit earlier, kind of joking around about it, but we wouldn't be here without you, man. Everything that Building a Refuge is and what Eric and I have strived for, and reaching out and hoping that we can hopefully be an influence maybe and help somebody is the reason we're here, buddy. So we're grateful to be here, man, and we appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for having me.
yeah, buddy, I
Thanks
love
for
it, man.
having me.
I see so much of it, man. I just, it's odd, but
Yeah.
no, I love it, man. So why don't you do this, like, share a little bit of your background with us, man. I know you're you're kind of an Indy native guy, but
Yeah.
a little bit of background.
Grew up in Carmel, Indiana.
go Hounds.
Not born and raised here, but born in Illinois, but moved here early. My dad was a home builder.
Okay.
So, great community to raise kids. you
Yeah,
know?
no doubt.
Extremely great community to raise kids. But,
And I can't not say this because Eric and I believe we lived in one of the homes you all built. So thank you for that.
Eller Run. That
Right?
was one
Crazy.
of our projects. I know it's a small world, and it gets wackier every day.
Did you know that, Sydney?
I did not know that.
Yeah, right?
That's actually crazy.
It's amazing, man. And it was a great home, by the way. I mean, fantastic home.
He
So
was good. My dad believed that everybody deserved to live in a home.
if I'd have been smart enough to put a basement in that house, I don't know if I'd ever moved out of it.
That's
I
a good
just,
point.
I don't think I had the money back then, honestly, for the upgrade. Though.
It did cost extra for the basement.
I know. I wish I'd have known you back then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I had no pull. I was like working customer service,
That's right.
dealing with the people that were mad.
Yeah. So grew up in Carmel and
Grew up in Carmel and actually watched the American Dream happen in my house.
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just from what you've shared with us, man. I mean, you've had an amazing, I think, kind of and challenging, right? I mean, we wouldn't be here if you obviously hadn't run into some things in your life.
Yeah, the whole life is a tragedy filled with joy.
Amen. Yeah, you said that not long ago, right?
Is kind of how I've seen things.
Yeah.
And luckily, I've had
Yeah.
more joy.
Yeah,
A lot
right?
more joy.
Yeah.
Well, you have such a great way, and I mean, look, it's why we do this, and I mean, your outlook, man, is welcoming. I think, just in terms of uh, how we've got here and what we do, and you have a very optimistic um, vantage point, and I think eyes that look at the world that way, man, and a lot of challenging, things that you've been through, man.
Yeah.
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 So yeah,
So, like, growing up, I was always drawn to community kind of things. So
yeah.
played baseball, and there was nothing cooler than,
Did you play at the Dad's Club?
oh yeah, sitting in a dugout with your buddies.
Oh,
Like
yeah, that's the
every,
best. Yeah.
playing the field's fun as shit, but there's nothing better than chewing bubble gum and sitting
Chewing
in a
bubble
dugout with all your buddies.
Right, talking about Reggie.
Oh,
Huh,
yeah.
Reggie. Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's like it was an amazing. The little athletic stuff, Dad Club stuff was just amazing around here.
Carmel's a great city. I mean, we lived in Fishers for 20 some plus years, and we just moved over there. But I lived there back in the '90s, and but it's a great area, man. Great
Yeah.
community, great. I mean, I lived pretty close to the Dad's Club, so that was kind of a pain in the ass on Saturdays. But
Yeah.
that's just because driving around that place was
Yeah,
a little bit of a pain.
But all the kids are out having fun, getting fresh
Yeah, I
air,
know.
so-
Yeah, right. There's a million little soccer kids and
Yeah.
baseball and all that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went to high school at
Carmel High School, graduated in 1984.
Right on.
Our
It's a great album, by the way, if you're a
Oh.
Van Halen fan.
we the funny thing about the class of 1984 is they asked you what your class song you wanted, and we wanted "Shout" by Otis Day and the Knights.
Oh.
And they said that had nothing to do with us graduating, which I was like, I don't know. Anyway.
Did they throttle you on that?
Oh
a
yeah,
little
they
bit?
throttled us. They wouldn't let us have it. We had to pick a song called "A Fine Fine Day," which is a fine song. But in the end of the things, the song is about suicide, a guy ending his life. So it was a very weird
Really?
thing.
That's what your class song was?
So we kind of revolted, and we made the Indianapolis Star. We were an abominable black mark on Carmel High School
What?
Oh,
history.
no,
yes.
Clark.
And from that point on, it was assigned seating.
Across the board.
We fucked it all up for everybody. Sorry, class of 85 and 86
Yeah,
and
man.
87.
That's the whole reason, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real thing.
Yeah. So they really made you guys change the song, though.
Yeah. They didn't let us pick the song, actually.
Wow.
That's what it amounted to, then.
So what kind of freedom is that as an 18-year-old,
You
man?
know, we got him back.
Apparently you did. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's great.
Uh,
So what after high school? Fill us in a little bit, man.
I went down to Vincennes University. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Vincennes?
Yeah.
Get out! I didn't know that.
There you go. That's why
God,
we do this.
There's things of shit we find out on here that we don't. I mean, we've always spent I don't know how much time together, and I didn't even know that.
And I didn't graduate from there. I came home
I didn't either.
and I started a
Isn't it?
painting business, but while I was down there, I met, my community at Vincennes.
Yeah.
And then I got a good buddy, Darren Boyd, and he's
Yeah,
like,
right on.
yeah. He said, I had an amazing human being, but I learned how to break dance. In 19,
I gotta see it.
in
gotta see it.
1984.
Do you have any videos of this, Sydney?
Fortunately, no.
Ah, God.
In 1984, I
Somebody out there's
Working
got
on some cardboard and recreate.
I
people-
never do the spinning, but I can do the wing.
when
break.
And I can pop a little, but
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
And so yeah, it was fun. I got my community there, but and then you come back and I started making tons of money being a contractor.
Yeah.
So it's like painting. I was making
Yeah.
$900 a week painting
Yeah.
back in the early '80s.
Mhm.
That was pretty
Mid
good.
80s, because
Yeah,
the early
mid.
80s.
Well, that was 85,
Yeah.
so you're right, mid.
So you didn't do any wallpaper, did you?
No wallpaper. Tore wallpaper off so I could paint.
Because like my mom back in the 80s wanted to wallpaper
Oh,
every
yeah.
single thing in the house.
Yeah, it was
Cover it.
was-
Sorry, Mom. I just
Even
thought
the outlets.
Yeah. Yeah. No shit. Even the
You took
outlet.
them off to wrap them.
Yeah.
Then put them back.
And the
on.
lines had to match up
Yeah,
exactly. Because if it
absolutely.
didn't match the paper on the wall, she'd be like, "Yeah, take it off." Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
So that was
That
like
was
late 80s.
mid '80s, and then I'm doing painting here, and then I found jet skiing in 1987.
Oh, yeah, right on.
And then, what a wonderful community that was.
Yeah,
Traveling around the Midwest every summer, racing,
like
stand-up
old
kind.
school, yeah, like
The
old
stand-up
school.
kind,
Those
yeah.
are a pain in the ass
The
to get up on.
hardcore
Because
stuff.
if you didn't do it right, man, you would get like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you get a
balls get blasted. By
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Sorry,
you
Mom.
learned, you
Sorry,
learned
Mom.
that you learned that one time what to not do, right?
Yeah.
So were your jet skis fast?
Yeah, 45 to 48 miles an hour in water with 12 other people on the lake. When you start.
Did you wear helmets?
Hell yeah, yeah.
on a thing that's what 16 inches wide, probably.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That'll make you pucker, I think, a little bit.
And that for me was like, oh, I'm so glad I got involved in that.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I got a loan through my dad's banker friend. He's like, "Hey, this is stupid, son. You're
gonna race jet skis.
What are your units? What is this thing? A jet ski?"
Yeah.
And we were like aliens while we traveled because nobody had ever seen these things.
Oh yeah.
Back in the 80s, So it was quite fun.
Were they on like an open trailer, or did you guys have them like enclosed?
Oh, we had open trailer because we didn't have as much money, but
Yeah.
the pros had all the all that stuff. But
Didn't they used to do a lot of that here in Indianapolis, like on Lake Indy?
Oh,
Wasn't that
yeah,
like a big deal back
we
then?
raced at Deer Creek on that lake
Oh,
there.
yeah.
The IGSBA
Yeah.
International.
I only did a couple things on that lake. I may have bathed in there once at a Grateful Dead show, and I'm pretty sure I urinated in there
Yes,
multiple
okay.
times at Grateful Dead shows.
Yes.
I have definitely swam in it.
So like yeah, that was good, and then all along another community that I found in the 80s was
Yeah.
the Grateful Dead community.
Oh yeah,
And
we have that in common. That's how
yeah,
we met, dude.
yeah. So
When you rolled into Harley that day, I was like, this guy looks pretty cool. He's got a Dead shirt on.
yeah,
I was like, all right.
they so many memories.
Yeah.
So many memories.
But it was a great community, man, and I even think probably like your jet ski, right? Anything that you can have where you got people that you hang with and bond with.
Yeah, and the whole jet ski thing turned into knowing people from Tampa
Yeah.
or Daytona, and then we would all connect in Colorado and snowboard every year.
You know what's crazy is you think about this shit, man, back then, right? We didn't have phones and technology, man. You literally had to call
Yeah,
somebody.
you make the plan and
Or leave them a message on a recorder, right?
Right.
Like, hey, this is Clark, man. I'll see you in Colorado in a couple weeks, and that they might not hear it for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, Clark's in Colorado today, right? Yeah.
When did you start like touring with the Dead?
Well,
Yeah. When did you get on the bus?
I got on the bus the very first show. Well, actually, I got on the bus. Grateful Dead '84 down at the RCA Tennis Center
Yeah.
place,
Okay.
I believe.
I remember that.
Yeah, and
Hell
then
yeah.
they started. And then Deer Creek
Yeah, Deer Creek. Yeah.
open, and they played every year there
Yeah.
for till '95, basically till Jerry died. So.
Yeah. That's where I jumped on the bus in 1988.
And I didn't go traveling all over the place. I went to Ohio and
That's what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did the whole Midwest.
Yeah.
The Midwest kind of runs.
But
Buckeye Lake and
every summer
Detroit.
we would jet ski or wakeboard, and then hang out at the lake and go to the Dead show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
see all these amazing people that you didn't see all
Yeah,
summer.
man. I mean, they're lifelong friends, and it
Yep.
was a different time for sure. Because I mean, like you said, there wasn't the social media aspect of it today, where you can connect with people today, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I've met a lot of really cool people at different shows, even in the last few years. But you can connect with them on Facebook and all the different social
Yeah,
media.
I mean,
sites.
music in general, I've always
Yeah.
sought out to go see bands, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
You ever heard of this dude Tommy Baldwin?
Yeah, there's
Dude will melt your frickin' face off.
yeah, he's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite.
He's one of my favorite too, man. He's a superhuman and amazingly talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So all right, so that takes you up into
So
like
we're kind of in the college era after, it's probably 24ish, and,
Yeah.
I think I started working for my dad's company, running customer service.
yeah,
Did a 10-year stint there, like from till '95 is when I ventured out on my own.
Okay,
and
I got
since
you.
'95, I haven't ever worked for anybody else other than myself.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
You
I
did.
mean,
You
just
did. When you came out on your own, what'd you do when you went on your own?
I did some contracting stuff and then ended up doing some home building. And
Yeah.
my dad, I went up to Colorado to do a walkabout.
so
and
you did go to
Yeah,
Colorado.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
Love it.
I've been out in Colorado a lot snowboarding,
Yeah.
but I went out there and I came back and my dad was like, "Hey, you want to start like a building company together?" Because I think he wanted me. He saw that he was maybe gonna
Yeah.
lose me to Colorado and not see me much, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is all a real blessing because he didn't live as long as I would have thought. But yeah, so we started a company. Crosser Properties built over 120 houses up in Anderson, rent
Nice.
to own kind of deal.
Cool.
So I've kind of always been around the home building industry,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and then we're closing in on the year 2000,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I met Ann, that
Right
would
on.
be my beautiful daughter's
Yeah. Yeah.
mother.
Did you guys like here in Indiana? I mean,
Yep.
not out in Colorado.
Yeah, yep.
Right on.
We met here. We had a softball team, group of guys, another community.
Yeah.
A lot of community
Did you
stuff.
play? Did you play on the east side, Andy, or the west side?
We played on the west side over there at
71st Street.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. 10 years of so much fun.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
kind of thing.
It's a community of people, man.
Right, you're all working different jobs, but we showed up there every Wednesday
Yeah.
and we played, laughed our ass off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We weren't very good.
It doesn't
I
matter
mean-
though, man. When you're around people, man, it's like it's just good, like to be around, because you find out, like, hey, what have you been doing this week? You're like, oh shit, you find out. And then they had great pitcher nights. Like you could get
Oh, yeah.
pitchers of beer, like
Oh, yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
And you can have pitchers in the dugout, which is even really cool.
Yeah, yeah. You could take beers. We took coolers in, but we eventually got sponsored by Chalkies. Shout out to Chalkies,
Yeah,
the billiard place.
It was literally the best pool hall
Oh,
in
yeah.
the city.
Oh yeah, it was.
Do you
great.
remember? Do you
I
remember
do.
Chalky?
I remember Chalkies. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
great, man. They had great like the pro length tables.
Yep,
And all that.
and good food.
Yeah.
And that's where the craft beer kind of thing started
Yeah,
in that
right on.
time frame.
Yep.
So there's a place called Three Floyds.
Yep.
They had a beer called Alpha King that they did not pasteurize or filter.
Yeah.
And the guys at the bar would turn the keg, meant you go up there and the beer was full of sludge and all the hoppy stuff. It was
All the
so
good stuff. So good.
So
All the
It's
good
like
stuff.
candy.
Yeah. You mix it all up, man. A little hazy.
That's where I met Ann.
Okay. Yeah, right on.
And then we kind of started hanging out, and then the funny thing is one of the previous podcasters
Yep.
is where Ann was living with her son Adam,
That's right.
and I actually was at his 4th birthday party
Dale
at
Speckman.
Dale Speckman's house in Broad Ripple. And I'm sorry about painting over your jersey, man.
Yeah, tell them what you
Dude,
do.
it's a big deal. 'Cause that's what rang a bell with him when we talked to him about it. We
Yeah.
were like, hey, I think you know this dude, man. And he's like, pretty sure he lived in the house. I was like, but I'm pretty sure he painted over your jersey. He's like, I got hurt playing football and I was bored and painted it one armed. I was like, oh, God, maybe I won't tell him that.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, another
Yeah,
connection.
and it's just weird. The serendipity of everything is
Yeah.
pretty freaking crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we're like 2000s. We get married 2001. Sydney's born. We got
Great.
married in Barefoot
Blessing,
Beach,
man.
Barefoot Beach, Florida.
Okay.
It was a beautiful wedding on the beach.
Yeah, right on.
And then Sydney's born, and
And were you all still living in Carmel then?
we lived in Noblesville.
Okay, right on.
I forget the name of the neighborhood, but north of 32,
Yeah.
on Lakeview Drive.
Yep.
And then, yeah, my dad, watched him go through all this stuff with the deluxe homes, converting to
Yeah.
Crossman communities. And then, incredible ride. But then, he sold the company to Beazer, died 3 months later.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, man. That'd be
tough.
just a
And,
Yeah.
So that was like the big that was big for me
Yeah, of course it is.
because I lost my business partner, my dad,
Yeah,
a really good friend,
yeah.
and he was a beautiful human.
Were you so like shortly of that, right? The sell of Beezer or to Beezer, anyways, and I mean, there was no, you guys weren't running a business at that point in time, right? I mean, this is kind of
Yeah, we had Crosser Properties,
okay.
which
So
was
you were still doing that,
mine
yeah,
and his, and then my brother and sister were trying to transition out of being working for Beezer
yeah,
into the family company is what it became.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we built a bunch of houses, and then he died, and then you trying to figure out
Yeah.
what your path's gonna be.
Well, I mean, as much as you've shared with Eric and I, man, I mean, I know your dad was a big part of your life, and any father's a big part of your life, especially when you guys are as close as you are, right? Running businesses and doing things together and stuff like that. And then when kind of happens abruptly like that, you know what I mean? That's a shock across the entire family, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
and we had started a family foundation,
Mhm.
and we did the um, St. Vincent's
Yeah.
Hospital, Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
It's now Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital, but we did the playground
Yep. Yeah.
initially, and he never got to see the
The
grand
finished pro-
opening of all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of suck. And I remember going to that event and just weeping, sitting on the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I mean,
like-
get it, dude.
it's
I mean,
tough.
yeah, man. I
And
mean,
everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy.
yeah.
But I don't think anybody really knew,
Yeah.
what that was all about. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get through losing your dad, and that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, but you had your hands in that thing too, right, man?
Yeah.
I mean, so
But
you know,
it's well, you instantly turn to I got a family now,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I mean the one really creepy thing is Sydney was born on 9/01/01. So
Okay.
like she's born baby and the 9/11 shit hits.
Yeah.
And man, I remember just calling
Oh,
my dad
man.
crying about like what kind of world did I bring my kid into?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that's a chunk of the tragedy and
yeah, yeah,
and all before that with the snowboarding and traveling not all over the world but the country. I'm
Yeah.
happy with the Rockies
yeah,
Sure.
and New Mexico and Michigan
Yeah.
and all the places I love to hang out in Naples, Florida.
yeah.
Anyway,
Did you guys travel when you were married? You and Ann married? Did you all travel like in that
not
2000s or?
a little bit. Colorado trip and then a lot of trips to Florida because my
Yeah.
parents had a house down there.
Okay. Yeah.
Mainly, oh yeah, you got kids and it's hard to move around.
It well, that's what kind of why I asked,
Right.
right? I mean, it's when I think Eric and I same thing. I mean, we're all relatively the same age, and around that time, early 2000s, you you have kids running around, man, and it takes up time and it kind of changes dynamics and things
Right.
and so on and so forth. But we travel probably a little bit here and there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So we kind of moving on from dad, losing dad, and
yeah,
we're looking to sell the house that we built through my dad's company up in
Yeah.
Noblesville and picked a little lot
yeah,
in Lock Haven. And I had my friend G see it just so he could pull the reins when shit got crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Expense wise, like you can't afford $20 a square foot tile.
yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't me telling my wife that, it's like,
Yeah.
Put someone in the middle there.
yep.
Yep.
So anyway, took a year to build, and me and Ann pretty much designed the whole interior.
Oh yeah, right on.
It was really proud of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful house, and then you close in. Let's say we're in what early 2000.
Mm-hmm.
We've lived there. Mark's born like right after we move in. 'Cause
Okay.
I remember the panic of every inspector I was walking through with, so I'd make sure I had the list as soon as he got to the car, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could turn around and fix it because Mark was going to be born soon, and our house wasn't done. You can imagine the anxiety that brings.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To
Yeah.
a beautiful pregnant wife.
Well, yeah. But you had someone in the middle there, so.
Yeah, kinda.
Maybe not that time.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we get the house built, and I don't know. That's 2003,
Mm-hmm.
3, 5,
Yeah.
and then Ann's parents die both the year of
It's only a
2005.
couple of years difference. Only a couple of years in between, right?
Like 3 months.
Oh
apart.
shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was some heavy shit. And,
Yeah.
And Ann, I think, had a lot of depression
Yeah.
going on with all that. But,
Well, it's a lot of life changes, man. I mean, I could relate. I mean, I can have a lot of empathy for that. I mean, you go through loss like that,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
it's been a whirlwind.
yeah, dude.
Dude,
I mean,
no.
shit, when you have that, when you have just in general, I mean, you know me, and we've all shared our stories together, man. I mean, we lost, including my brother and Sherry's dad, we lost 6 people in a year.
Oh, wow. I can't even.
And it's,
Yeah.
but everybody's, everybody's story's different. Yours is, you know what I mean? Everybody's personal, right? It's personal to them. But just to say, hey, man, I have empathy for you guys and what you went through, and Ann, I mean, because shit, man, I mean, it's just a lot in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And it's a relatively new life.
Yeah.
Us, we're only like, less than 5 years into a marriage.
Right.
You're
Right.
dealing with tragedy.
Yeah.
It's
And you got everyday life going on.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not just like that's the only thing that we're,
I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to build anymore. Like we're debating, where to take the family. There was still some because of the rules of when you sell
Mhm.
a company, you have to hold senior stocks back for
I gotcha.
like several years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just navigating all that was
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's, but again, that's one of the things like we hope we strive to do for people listening out there, right? We say this kind of sometimes when we go through stories like this, and we hope that there's commonality, right, for people listening out there that have gone through similar things, and losing any loved one, parents especially, it's a big deal, especially in a just with a lot happening, man. Fuck, the world was, the world's a different place in 2001. Everything changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the whole world changed. And you're in the midst of all that, raising a family, got little kids, and
And you go straight in from that. I was a home builder to
Yeah.
the 2008 crisis
Yeah.
that just like destroyed all the people that I grew up with my dad, all the older people that
Yeah.
were running business, everybody
yeah,
decimated. All your old
Eric
friends.
knows that firsthand.
Yeah, we share that
And like
for sure.
watching all the sadness of all these people that grew with my dad's company,
Mhm.
plumbers and electricians,
Yeah.
and then they all just were struggling.
Right.
Um,
I mean, and that wasn't just a blip, man. I mean, that was
No.
that never really. I mean, that was from 2000, really, probably 7, like halfway through 2007 into 8, and then it ran into probably what 2010, 11.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the,
got-
the domino effect.
I
I mean,
got-
it
I got tired
yeah.
of waiting around, so I kind of had to reinvent myself.
Right.
Ended up with, luckily, I got out with one lot and one empty nester custom house kind
Yeah.
of left. It took me a year to sell, but
Yeah.
I got out way easier than everybody else that I knew that was in that industry at the time.
Man.
Yeah,
I feel
lots of it was
super
the
blessed.
trickle down effect of that.
Yep.
3 years was
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. I mean,
And I'm glad,
here's the
glad to
thing-
see you made it out of it.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like you guys know firsthand because you guys both worked in that industry. I mean, I was outside it completely. You know what I mean? And I only learned about it kind of what you hear in the news, right?
Yeah.
And kind of what was happening with mortgages and just the rates and contractors and just the halt and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, it's a
So we're kind of in the reinventing
yeah,
Clark phase.
yeah, yeah.
And and I just can't get over like the path that if everything didn't happen the way it has this far into my life,
Yeah.
none of this would be going on right now.
Right.
It is,
yeah, yeah.
it is incredibly like, all right. It sucks. I reinvented myself in 2011. I started the LDR Studios company
All right.
with my nephew Michael
Okay.
and
Oh
Josh.
yeah, right on.
So we kind of had this idea, and then implementing this idea,
Yeah.
and then like not knowing anybody in this industry and how the hell am I going to make any money doing this? And how do I get my message out and how do I show people my work? And
Yeah.
so the first 3 or 4 years I did shit for free and then slowly built up to charging $600 a video, and now it's a whole different ball game.
Oh
And
man.
I've like,
And look where we're at right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, and this place saved my life. And
yeah.
um,
Yeah, totally.
and we're not even to the darkest part of my story.
I got you, man. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So, doing this, I'm starting to get good at it. And for
You're
me,
great at it, Clark. Listen, don't. I mean, no
Thank you,
joking
thank you.
aside, man. You got your entire team is great. I mean,
but yeah, like figuring it all out and the managing of this kind of thing is almost like home building management.
okay,
You get a plumber, yeah, you get the blueprints,
yeah,
and you create a team and you navigate through whatever the project is, a house or this.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, it's like I'm already good at that.
yeah,
I'd build houses in 60 days sometimes.
yeah,
5 of them, just little 1,200 square foot ranches. But
yeah, yeah.
I get people in there working, and
Yeah.
like I can crush it.
Yeah.
So for me, it became I was a little sad to let go of my dad's legacy completely.
Sure, makes sense.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to build a legacy for my kids
Yeah,
doing
right on.
this, and hopefully they'll get involved.
Yeah.
Right?
Look who's
Sid?
sitting in that chair
Yeah,
over there.
right.
That's awesome.
She's been a huge help for us, man.
Huge
We
help.
were novices. I don't even know if novice is the right word when it
We-
comes to
it's-
TikTok, right, Sydney? And we were like, "Hey, can you help us?" And you're
Is
like,
there a
"Yeah,
word
sure."
before novice?
I don't know what
Infantile?
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
moron. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. There probably is a word for it. I just don't know exactly what it is. But so thank you, Sydney.
You're welcome.
You know,
But-
and then like, all right, I was just looking at time.
Yeah, no, yeah. Look at you. I love it. See, he's way more comfortable. We kind of side eye the time over there. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Clark,
Yeah.
what is it over there? Yeah.
You know, things because of all the stuff our family had been through.
Yeah.
Things became a little tougher, like to manage marriage-wise. And
Yeah.
you know, so 2018. I mean, for the beautiful house that we lived in, there was so many wonderful, beautiful memories there. But
Yeah.
also, we had, we reached a point where we couldn't
Yeah, I
live
gotcha.
together
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
And,
Let me do this really quick because I hope this is a good I want to kind of transition to here something really
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
before you get to this because I think it's important for people that are listening and people that maybe not know like this dynamic that listen into this and what we're doing at Building a Refuge and how we got to this point. So I'm probably a little more well versed, I guess, because you and I've talked a lot, Clark, in your story and so on and so forth, right? But just for people that are listening, in terms of what we do at Building a Refuge, and Clark, you're such a huge part of that. And you talked a little bit about how this has been a serendipitous adventure, and I don't believe in chances, man. I don't believe in that just happened by chance, right?
Mhm.
So when we started Building a Refuge, Eric and I, and we've shared our story on this podcast, and I think people know what we've been through. We said, man, we want to create something, right, that we can just have, that it's not so cookie cutter approach to, dealing with challenges in life that do include depression, anxiety, suicide, things that are really, really impactful. People, loss of loved ones in any capacity, right? And doing that one story at a time. And so, for listeners out there, in what we do, we host monthly meetings at Harley-Davidson of Indianapolis. They're a gracious sponsor of ours, help, support, whatever. They let us come in there once a month and we host meetings. And so, not knowing you at all, we kick off a kind of a kickoff event in November around men's health awareness, which is November, No Shave November, which Eric has knocked it out of the park, by the way. and you look pretty
You
damn
not
good,
so
too.
much.
No. Me not so much.
You need 2 Novembers.
Maybe like 24 Novembers. But so we kick it off, right? And usually we have kind of a day set up and what have you. And so that the morning of it this past year, we do a little bit of a live feed and we say, hey, listen, this is what's going on today, blah blah blah. Here's what we're doing. We're at Harley Davidson, so on and so forth. Come and check us out. And I noticed when I was doing it, I got a tag on there from Gavin Good, and God thank him, man. I mean, thank you, Gavin, for connecting us. And I've talked to Gavin a number of times at the VFW in Carmel. He's been a big, part of our life and supporting us. And
Semper Fly.
that's right, buddy. Thank you, veterans. That's right, man. He's amazing. If you're listening, go check him out. One of the most amazing international artists, right?
I wore this shirt just for
Well, I was just gonna say something about the flash shirt, dude. That thing is fire, man. That thing is awesome. So Gavin tagged you in that post, and I'm just being transparent about it. I mean, I didn't think a lot of it at the time because I didn't know you, right?
You know what I was doing at the time when I saw that tag?
What's that?
I was making those sausage things for the kids.
Are those
that I
good?
saw on TikTok.
Are they good?
They're good.
They're smoked.
Did you eat them? Did you eat any of
I
them?
a little bit.
You're not a big sausage fan.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe you should make those for us one day.
I will,
that'd be
I will.
great.
I
I mean, because
promise.
I like sausage, man. So you can tell. Look at me, I'm full figured, anyways. So
It's a beautiful figure, by the way.
thanks, Cla I mean, I can't grow a beard, but I know how to grow a body, man. You know what I'm saying? So, anyhow, so Gavin tagged you, and Eric and I, we went up, about the day or whatever, and then you come walking in, and I kind of did a double take because like, man, I wonder who this dude is. Like, it's almost 3 o'clock or whatever, and I noticed your Grateful Dead shirt because I think I told you that right up front. I was like, this guy looks pretty cool. I'll go say hi. I mean, if you got a Dead shirt on, it's hard for me not to go over and want to hug a feller,
It doesn't matter what shirt
a
you're gonna
feller
have
brother
You're
on
gonna
the
go over.
a feller brother on the bus, man. So
You don't have to have a Grateful Dead shirt
Yeah.
for you to go say hi.
so I went over and I introduced myself, and then you shared with me, you know what I mean, the loss of Adam and kind of what you were going through, and that day was coming up, the 3-year anniversary, and so on. So it was hard on you, right?
And that's my son.
I love it, man. Good job, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call out to Mark, buddy. Hey, get in here. We need you to come in.
I think Mark's hungry.
Yes, that's great. You can take it. Look, we had a caller. That's our first caller.
We did have our first caller.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
I think we should warn them before we offer him in. And
That's
awesome.
so good. So when you said that to me, man, I was like, and we've shared this with people before on podcasts, and what we do is like, man, Eric and I've always been like, if one person comes in that we can even have some bit of an impact on, or we can help, or just be there as listeners and so on, we're in. Man, it just continues to light the fire of what we're doing here. And we were like, hey man, come on over. Let's talk. And I think my stepdad was there, and obviously Eric was there, Chris was there, a bunch of our friends were there, and it was cool, man, because you sat, you hung out, you shared with us kind of what you're sharing right now. And at the end of it, when Eric and I were like, well, hey man, like what do you do, Clark? Because we didn't know you at all, right? And you're like, well, I have this recording studio, LDR Studios, and I do music videos and shit, and I do podcasts. And Eric and I were like, no shit. Because we literally, for the past 6 months previous to that, to a point where I was getting ready to buy a bunch of shitty equipment, and we were going to try to do this on our own. And you come along. And so I just bring that up because I know you are getting to a part that's very personal to you, and we are very cognizant of that. And I want to make sure people that are listening to this understand that, what we do, these stories are important. They're real things that happen, but I also want people to know, one story at a time to create hope is real as well. Because what you're doing, Clark, by sharing this, and what you did by coming to us and hanging out with us gives us hope too. I mean,
Absolutely.
it fills Eric and I up by what you do and what you've been through, and getting to meet your family, getting to meet Sid, and laughing, Mark calling, and man, it's love and it's joyful, like you said earlier, man. Tragedies, present joy, right? I mean, and so I just wanted to share that before
Yeah, it's
you
important.
jump in, man,
Yeah, it's important.
because it
It's
is important.
serendipity. I mean, I, I decided right away, and I think we should go through the process of, and then I can share like me sharing my story and determining like I wasn't gonna not tell this story
Yeah,
because I'm out networking for the company, and then a lot of the questions people ask: Are you married? How
yeah,
old are you? Do you have kids? What do you do for a living?
yeah. Yeah,
So I immediately decided I wasn't gonna not include Adam
absolutely.
in when I talked about it,
Yeah,
and we're kind of getting the cart in front of the horse a bit
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're still. Let's go back to 2018,
Absolutely. Yeah.
where the divorce was in play, and there's a lot of stuff I don't want to share about that, but the parts that I do is that um, all through this process, I'm working on music videos.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right, man. It's okay, dude. We love you, brother. We love you, man. It's all right.
This might save my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love you for it, Mo, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and that the passion that you give us, man, is real. I mean, it is.
Going through divorce, I got to work with so many people that distracted me from how shitty my life was at the time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jason Brown and Catherine Nagy, Jeff Weirband, Tate Bronson, when country went pop, all these people like and there's more.
Yeah.
So I slept here a lot
Yeah.
at this studio.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
It was my house, and I remember this is 2018. Shooting a video, and we're we're moving everything out.
Yeah.
My bed, my life. I didn't have any clothes, so I'd go to concerts so I could get a new concert T-shirt. So I had a clean shirt to
That's
wear
awesome.
the next day.
Fucking great, dude.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So,
If I would fuck the setup right now, I'd come over and hug you.
so anyway, this particular shoot, this is divorce. So there's the divorce people that saved me, like, and Jason's got a beautiful family. And the
Yeah.
first weekend we were shooting this, we shoot at his house, and I hadn't seen my kids in a while because of the situation. But
Sure.
I remember how much joy I got out of just watching him interact with his kids while preparing to shoot this video, the
Yeah.
beginning of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the weekend before. The weekend after, we're here, and it's a late Friday night, and they got my fucking bed in the back. The cricket bed.
Yeah.
You flip over, you got to turn your. Anyway, it's not the best couch to sleep on. There's some people here that can attest to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 2018, New Year's Eve, it's 2019, and I'm working through all this
Yeah.
with talented people, but June 19th, I think,
Yep.
we spent 16 hours with a mediator, I guess you would call it,
Gotcha.
and settled on a divorce. Living in a shitty ass apartment that I hadn't lived in an apartment for a long time, so
Yeah.
with 4 people and a dog, and Mark and I had to sleep together and shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't fun, but we made it.
Yep.
And then
You want to take it? I mean, it's our first caller, dude.
No.
I mean, come on. He's a part of the family, man.
Sorry about that. That's twice, and I have my ringer turned off actually.
Yeah.
It's tricky though.
I see what you did there. Oh my gosh, that's fucking beautiful. Oh, that's great.
Anyway, so we're into 2019, and I'm certain there's no way out of getting divorced. And then June 19th, I think, get divorced, and that whole thing's like it's a loss in itself. Like 18 years of marriage, and that you're just done.
Yeah.
You're single, or you're thinking about what the hell am I going to do being single? It's been 20 years since I've ever, it got weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I know. So 2019 June, we get divorced. Looking around for houses, and the market was really tough because, like, if you didn't have money ready to buy a house on that
Yeah.
day,
yeah.
you ain't getting a house.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
So like anxiety
Especially in Carmel.
and depression out the ass of just like I want to find my new home and my new beginning.
Yeah.
And trying to find my new beginning, found the house. We found the house. Closed on November 8th. And the how awesome it feels when you drop your mattress on the floor for the first time at your new place. And I felt like I broke the tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be damned if I didn't get a call at
Yeah.
3 in the morning, man.
Yeah. I love you, buddy, man. Hey. I love you.
Yeah, you good, buddy.
Adam shot and killed himself.
I got you.
And then everything.
Yeah.
Part of our heart's gone forever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the phone call you never want, man. I mean, it's just
And just
your emotion in it, man. Like it brings back, man. It brings back the night, the same thing that we've been through. It's a call it.
and I
Yeah.
I just remember texting everybody, call me when you wake up.
Yeah.
I was up all night. I hadn't slept. I got shit all over the city and boxes and fucking trucks and I didn't go down to see him because I was afraid to leave Mark by himself.
Yeah.
And my main concern was finding Sydney. Ella was there.
Yeah.
He already knew. But Mark was asleep. So I'm looking everywhere for Sydney because I thought social media would catch up. And I'm like, yeah.
I love you, Sydney. I'm glad you're here, man.
Y'all get my daughter here so I can tell
Yeah,
her.
I got you.
And that morning, my buddy Darren,
Yeah.
too, he was the first one.
Yeah. It's amazing how people will rally around you. I mean, it's
But
yeah.
The amount of anxiety on getting my whole family in one place so I could tell them. But nothing broke my heart more than telling Mark about his brother because they were like really close.
Yeah, man.
And so then you're dealing with it. I'm moving in. I got a funeral to plan. I got people coming in town from Tampa, and it's a giant shit.
It's a fog.
Yeah.
It's a fog. It's a fog. It's a fog. I mean,
you don't even know the fog. Do you?
no, man. You don't know.
And
You're just surviving.
And I'm working creatively with people, and this was Saturday, on a Saturday. Sunday, my friends come over, help me unload some shit out of this giant-ass cubicle thing and get things in place. My family came over and put together furniture. That money rolls around, and my buddy Tay's like, he's making I helped him with his album cover and stuff, but Alone for Christmas is his song, and it's a cheesy little song, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And I went out that Monday. I called him because it was snowing, and he wanted it out by Black Friday.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, man? We ain't getting no more snow before Christmas, so we got it.
That's what I love about you, Clark, man. Like, you have a way of, you know what I mean? Like, you just have a way about yourself, dude.
But I filmed this video called Alone for Christmas.
Yeah.
And some of it's a Christmas song, so we
Sure,
wanted
sure.
snow.
Yeah, I get you.
Krista Mart was down there, so I was like, all right, we're just gonna go walk around and film this shit. And I was in canvas tennis shoes. I didn't have a jacket. And Tay's like, dude, are you okay? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember any of it except for watching the footage of what I shot.
yeah. When I lost Brent, man, my brother, in the same fashion, I don't remember probably a good 3 weeks of shit that went on. I mean, my parents were so just like when your feelings come out the way they come out, Clark. It just brings me back to, you know what I mean, like that, and it's okay. I mean, that's why you are so. I mean, it's why you're. I love that you're in our life and you're a part of this, man, because it's helpful for me too. It's very
I
helpful
never
for
got
me.
to finish grieving my divorce.
Yeah.
And I went straight into this. And thank God for fucking everybody that I've worked with in the last 4 years. Like
They're family, man. I don't give a shit
They
what
s-
people say. Your
they s-
friend, yeah,
they literally saved my life.
Yeah.
I've drove out to a field and wondered where the best place
yeah,
to stop the pain.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
I mean, and then like I get caught up in doing all this work, and then, you know, you start hearing about COVID coming, and this is leading up to the year anniversary, the first year
yeah,
of losing Adam, and it's just a blur.
yeah.
It's a blur. I can't even. I can show you what I made during
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
I have no fucking
Yeah,
idea
Yeah.
how I did it though.
yeah,
So we get to we're dealing with grieving and trying to figure out where Sydney and where Mark and where Ella and even where Ann is with grieving, and you're hoping that I don't know where I'm at.
right.
I have no idea where I'm at with any of it. And then you know, basically November, December, December
Yeah,
sucks
yeah,
balls because it's
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah,
I
no.
still am not a big fan of Christmas anymore. Used to be my favorite holiday. Used to do it at Pride and shit, but
Yeah,
and then you're sad for a year and confused and lost. Don't know where your kids are, where their hearts are, how you navigate it, and then COVID kind of hits, or it's starting to hit. But leading up to the year, I remember I started walking every day, and I went from walking, 5,000 steps. I thought it was a big deal to
yeah,
like, and I randomly met this young gal that like it it was like a godsend,
mhm,
and she listened to me.
yeah, man,
She listened to my story. We would walk almost every day,
yeah.
and I listened to her story. But you know who the first person to call me when on the anniversary
Yep.
of Adam's death was her, 7 o'clock in the morning, to see if I was okay.
Yeah, man.
And like
Lord will put people in your path, dude,
Yeah.
that you cannot predict.
she makes amazing cakes,
yeah.
fucking amazing cakes, and she actually catered this whole thing. I don't want to get too far into the story,
Yeah.
but she was the one that checked on me, and she like gave me attention and made me feel like it was okay to give
Yeah.
my heart to somebody again.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is a year. Been a year after my divorce, over a year.
Yeah.
So June
Right.
2020, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's right. You're
Yeah.
2019, 2020. Yeah.
Anyway, like if it wasn't for somebody like her, I can't. It's just so.
Look, man. When we talk about this on here, and you know it, man. When you zoom out and you look at shit, you get blown away.
Well, the common denominator, and I think about every single guy that's sat at this
I
table
know, man.
is that a person, has come into their life and given them an opportunity to speak their pain,
Yeah.
and that's what she did for you, right?
Yeah.
When
Oh
you were
yeah.
walking.
Yeah.
Oh, she was literally there, making sure I was okay
Yeah.
the morning of it, and then we start getting into COVID, and I start shooting concerts for a cause out of here, and we're giving the money to food workers that aren't working and stuff.
Yeah.
And this all parlays into this thing called City Sounds, which was like just incredible idea. And we
Yeah.
fucking 19 DJs shot on a green screen.
That's nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the one Saturday we had 10 hours of straight shooting, like strictly set
Holy
up.
smokes.
And so Natalie, oops, I wasn't supposed to say her name. I gave her approval.
That wasn't her name.
I
Was
just
it?
heard
No,
that.
no, that was yeah.
Anyway, she's
Bleep it out.
she's the sweetest girl ever. Oh, we'll let it stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, super.
Yeah.
Like, my mind's blown. This is a big production,
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
production, organizing it all. So we're catering food because kids are coming through that hadn't played in a year because of COVID and stuff. And so I was like, man, when they come in, I want everything to be special. Cupcakes, beer, whatever. She made just like all these cupcakes and these Cinnabons and kettle corn. And that's the same thing. When she
Yeah.
knew I was coming here to do on that day, she called me first thing in the morning and goes, I know you're busy. I'm just going to bring the food to you. Like, and
Yeah.
she always had my back.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, man.
what an incredible person. And I think like I owe her a debt of gratitude because like she was the little bit of light that I had in my darkness.
Amen, man. I
Yeah.
mean, amen.
We do need to let people that have done those things
Yeah.
for us
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great call out.
special
Yeah. yeah.
to let them know that, because sometimes they don't realize what they do for us.
No, man.
No, and I told her I was going to involve her, and I was like, I won't use your name, I promise.
Whoops. Yeah. No, I mean, look, and you know, like I said a minute ago, man. I mean, it's hard. You know, it's hard sometimes to see things that are, you know, right, you know, that are passed right in front of you, right, man. And you look at people that come in and out of your life at times, and it's obvious that, you know, she was somebody that came into your life at a perfect time.
Yeah.
And for me, man, look, I'm not shy about pronouncing, man. I believe in Christ, and I believe that He shows up right at the right time, and He puts people in your path that that help you through difficult times. And you don't know what that person's going to look like. You don't know whether they're going to be 25 or they're going to be 105.
Right.
And it just takes a heart to see it. You know what I mean? And you have that.
Yeah.
And it's perfect, man. It's perfect, and it's fucking beautiful because I mean, Eric and I can sit here and tell you that, you know, I mean, if it wasn't for what I experienced with losing my brother to suicide, he and I would never, I shouldn't say never, but he and I wouldn't be doing this today. And it's all because of one guy that showed up in our life, and that's Rusty Kennedy. And it's just crazy, dude, when you zoom out, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just nuts.
I-
I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
I'm going to backtrack a little
Yeah, right on.
to the day of Adam's funeral.
Sure.
It's just like a week after he passed away.
Yeah.
My mom got these doves that you release and the Father, Son, Holy Spirit kind of
Sure.
ceremony kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But, one of Adam's favorite movies was Forrest Gump.
All right. Yeah.
And it's a foggy day, and it keeps I can feel the temperature getting colder and colder as we're walking around.
Okay.
Like, and it's the air is dense, so this kind of haze is coming down. But so we get to the part of releasing the doves, and I'll be damned, those things fly around. One drops a little feather almost right in front of Mark's.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Yeah, man, that's great. That is, I mean, and those are things, man. Those are real. Those are real. Those are real. Those are real. I don't mean, some people may not believe in that kind of stuff, but I do.
Yeah, that
And-
happened for a reason.
Yeah. Hell yeah. 100%, you know? And I mean, and those things will still happen. I'll tell you this, like, and just to, you know, connect with this, man, my brother loved the song from Marshall Tucker, Can't You See? And I hear that fucking song everywhere I go. It's one of the reasons why I learned how to play it and I love singing it. But I hear that song almost everywhere I walk into, all of a sudden, we were at Harley Davidson yesterday, and all of a sudden that song came on.
Yeah.
And it's just a tiny little reminder to me, man. Like, all right, I'm
Yep,
cool.
I'm
It's
still
good.
bro.
Yeah, it's good. Everything's cool. Well, yeah, he'd be like, let's fucking slam a beer. But I mean, it just is a reminder for me, man, that and I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm. It makes me, it makes me humble, but I mean, it makes me, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And this all comes around to me going out and kind of interacting with the world again as a single person. I would share my story, and then
Yeah.
in my mind the whole time I was like, I got to do something with a purpose that is related to this, and then when I saw the post that Gavin tagged, I knew that this was the purpose. I could have recreated this on my own, but I thought it was better to join forces.
Oh man. Well, we love you, man. I mean, I can't even tell you, like, we because we don't know. I mean, here's the thing: we don't know what we're doing with this. You know what I mean? Like, we know what
We should by now. We're 13 episodes
But
into this
here's the
shit,
thing,
brother.
yeah. I mean, but we didn't know when we got together and we wanted to do something. We were like, we just had this passion about. I think we had an envisionment of what we wanted to do, but one, we didn't have the knowledge, right? We didn't have the experience. We didn't have any of those things that we could go, oh, I can do this, or I know how to do this. I know how to do that. We know how to do this, whatever, right? We just know we had two dudes with a story that we were like, fuck it, man. We're just going to share it, and we're just going to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And we got to that point in this because, we went through, the period of COVID. And we tried to do things online, and it just didn't work for us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It just wasn't this. It wasn't where you could, it's banging my head against there, but it wasn't where you can touch and feel this and see your emotion, man. And your emotion, dude, I love that you allow that out because it's important, man. I mean, it's important that it's expressed.
It's really the first time I've let it.
Yeah, and we're grateful for that, man.
Well, and it's important, man, because like I've told it in my series of podcasts, I've never had an opportunity to tell the whole thing soup to nuts,
Yeah.
And when I got that opportunity, I mean, it was a couple days after I got done, I was like, man, what, like,
Yeah.
there were some things in there I'd forgotten about.
Yeah.
There's some things in there that I didn't remember, and it is difficult. I do remember the first time I really told my story, and there are parts in my story that bring me to emotions like what Clark's dealing with right
Yeah.
now. And there were times where I was like, man, I can't do that. I can't show that.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, and I've never known Clark to apologize for his emotions, to
No.
skirt away from his emotions,
Right.
Like, and that's like growth, and it's important, that guys out there who are listening to this can see that, because it's okay to do that. Like, it's okay to, in a safe setting, to sit down and just throw that shit out there, man. Because this is important. Like what he's going through today. I mean, it blesses us.
Oh my
it's going to
gosh,
bless
yeah.
people out there, but it's also going to bless him, because he's going to be able to continue to articulate his story and to affect more and more people. And,
Right.
And he and Sydney are going to be able to tell their story together maybe someday, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, when we were in here and we first did this, I think you were in here with us, right? When we first kind of were trying to demo this and stuff, right? And your and I's perspective of you losing a brother are in alignment. With your dad, I can have a ton of empathy, and I have so much because I saw my parents, and it fucking killed me. And my perspective of it is because they couldn't handle the situation, I took it upon myself to plan so I had to call all my aunts and uncles. I had to call the funeral home in Wisconsin. I took that on because my parents couldn't do it. But what I think is really what I think is amazing about all this is you coming into our life and this big picture again. When you start to see these things, because you and I talked a little bit afterwards, man. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And we see our parents. You get to see your dad, today expressing and being vulnerable and being courageous, really.
Absolutely.
And telling a story. And you have a story. I know you do. I know you do. I believe it in my heart because I know I do. And I had the opportunity of sharing, the story and shit. There's some things in there that I still haven't shared, because of just I'm past it, frankly, and this just has to do with family shit. But your perspective and my perspective are very similar. And you take age off the table, it doesn't matter. Brother, sister, brother, sister, whatever it is, man. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just one of those things that, I don't want anybody to have to go through. But here's what I do know, man. We live in a crazy fucking world. All right, with a ton of pressures, with a ton of differences, challenges, shit like that. And we know these things are going to continue to happen. And we only can hope that what we're doing, to your point, Clark, from a passion perspective, and God, thank you, man, for coming into our life, we can impact somebody.
Yeah.
I know in my heart that somebody's going to hear this and it's going to impact them. And maybe it directs them to our, to our pages, our website. It's kind of there. But maybe it directs them to us to come and talk to us. And we can create that chill environment where somebody doesn't feel intimidated, right? You know what I mean? Like they can't share their story. So we know it helps.
So Clark, I'm curious, like with LDR Studios, you said earlier it saved your life, right?
Yeah.
We know what we want to do with building a refuge in this podcast, but LDR Studios as a whole, what's 5 years look like from now with LDR Studios? What do you want to do with that?
Well,
To
with
get
this
back to that?
vehicle.
Yeah, with
well, I think things like this are important, but also I was fortunate enough to live in a household where a legacy was left behind, a pretty significant one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of on a different path, but I would love to leave maybe not the same impact my dad because he was a baller motherfucker.
Savage, man.
You are.
Savage. I
But
love it.
if I get halfway
Yeah.
to something like that to
Yeah.
behind my kids, and to do, I think it was important for me to show my kids where I was with all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And the whole thing for me is like when seeking, like, you guys came into my life when I was looking actively to do something with a purpose. And yeah, the stars have aligned, or whatever you want to say. But there's a reason we're all sitting here with our fancy new studio going on.
And your shirt that I spelled wrong, but that's okay because we're going to call you Clark A anyways.
And the crew keeps on getting bigger.
Yeah.
And the crew keeps
Hell
getting
yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
I want to keep sharing a message.
Amen.
Not
Yeah.
only with this, but I want to work with creative people. I want them to have a place to come to show us how creative they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called collective or a community. It's another community.
Yeah. It is.
Absolutely.
You're right. It is, man. Yeah.
No doubt.
But I love the fact, man, that that you know how to bring people together, dude. Like you bring people together in a way that is amplifies their creativeness. And it's just the vibes you bring to all this, man. You know what I mean? Like it's the vibes that you bring to an environment that is like, all right, this is cool. I'm good. Like, man, I know you've opened it up to us, and I'm like, shit, man, I just like going and hanging out. You know?
Well, and for me, I mean, I think I'll speak for both of us.
Yeah.
We are very technically challenged, and
Oh yeah.
to watch Dustin and Mike run around here
Yeah.
and do the things that they're doing, and then watch
And you,
Me
El-
too, sometime.
El Director Clark.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pass on a little bit of
Yeah.
stuff. 'cause-
Yeah, it just blows me away, and that's exactly what you were talking about earlier with putting those pieces together. Like you're great at putting those pieces together, and I think these are two gigantic pieces to what I think collectively all of our goal is to bring hope to people.
Right on.
You want to bring hope to your kids. We want to bring hope to our kids as well.
That's right.
Our families and and that legacy. But ultimately, the guys that are listening to this podcast, or the wives and girlfriends of people that are listening to this podcast, you know, there is hope at the end of this thing, and he personifies it.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
absolutely, it just oozes out of him every single day, and
Yeah.
I just love being there with him.
Yeah.
Gives me peace.
Oh, I mean, it's just here's the thing: as challenging as these stories are to tell and to listen, and to you guys, man, you edit them, you, Dustin, and the team, you guys watch these things.
I think Dustin has to edit this one.
I mean, and he does an amazing job. But I mean, we know I know in my heart, man. I know in my heart it's gonna touch somebody. It's gonna hit somebody.
For sure.
I know
hope
it
so.
because and listen, I'd be remiss if I was like I'd been doubtful in the past, right? You and I've had
Sure.
this conversation. And as soon as we've had this conversation, we just get smoked. Like blasted. And you walking in that day, man, has taken us to a completely different level in being able to get our message out and what we want to do.
For sure.
You know, you're a part of this team and forever will be, dude. We're not going anywhere, you know?
Yeah,
Dustin's
you're
a part of the
screwed,
team.
man.
You
You're
know what
with
I'm
us.
saying? And I mean, that's what's fun about this because we're seeing like what Eric and I were hoping to have happen. It's happening. And really, I mean, we can say we haven't done anything, and we have. We've put the meetings together. We've done some of this stuff. But at the end of the day, man, this thing is growing organically, man, and I love that. I love that. That's like I can feel good in my heart about that.
I think we mention it every time. I think I've mentioned it in every podcast, but that first thing with guys who are hurting is that decision. You know, and Clark made that decision to tell his story and to speak out and to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
He, you know, the walks that he went on, you know, those types of things. I mean, being vocal and letting people know what's going on in your world is incredibly important. And I think that message was loud and clear today.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Man, we love you, dude.
Yeah.
I love you too.
You're my brother, and I'm just grateful that
I only cried 3 times.
Well, you can.
You can cry 5 times. It don't matter.
It's the rawness of what we do here, man. You know what I mean? And it's real. I want people to know it's real as fuck. It is real. It's real. It's real emotion. It's real shit that people go through. And
Or am I a really good actor?
well, if you are, if there's an Academy Award around here somewhere, I'll give it to you. As long as you don't slap me in the face on stage, okay? Don't do that. But Clark, thank you very much.
Thanks,
And
man.
Dustin,
Thanks, brothers.
team, you're all awesome, man. And as we said at the front of the show, if you are struggling, by all means, reach out. We have a couple resources, and I'm not remiss if I don't say this, but you can text 494949 the word refuge to it. It's anonymous. It's a great first start. You can also use the National Suicide Line at 988. You can text 838-255 as well. And if you're a vet out there, all these resources work, but you also can call 1-800-273-8255 as well. And we really appreciate and grateful for all of our veterans. But I love you, man. I'm so blessed to be here. We're humbled to be here, and I'm grateful for you to share your story, bro.
Right.
Thanks, Sydney. We
God bless.
appreciate
Yep.
you too.
Thank you.
Thank you
I'm
for being
so honored to be a part of like all this.
We want you here every time we do these. Get in here.
I wish.
That's right. Get to work.
I will.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, bye.
God, I need a refuge, someone I can talk to. When it seems all hope is gone, so build me a refuge, somewhere I can run to. Someplace that feels like home.